So the whole purpose of that 10 seconds exhale is just to maintain your posture and make sure that that air is uninterrupted, soft, nice, and easy. Now we already said that you're going to need some time to teach yourself this exercise. And even if when you think you know it really well, it's not going to work every time, because this is a lot of juggling to do for one exercise. If you think something went wrong while taking the breath, just quit doing it. Release your breath and start over. So what we want to do is we're going to do this 10 times a day, but 10 perfect times. And if anything goes wrong along the way, that doesn't count. Just let it go and acknowledge what's the problem and fix it and do it again. The second exercise is a version of the first one. So the points we covered in the first exercise also applies on the second. There are just a few differences. We're going to close one nostril and inhale through the other. We're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold our breath for 8 counts, and going to exhale for 16 counts. You're going to think that you have a really tight shirt and you have 4 buttons starting from very low and going up to your rib cage. And every count you have, you're going to inhale to the level of that button, popping it up because you're expanding. So you have 4 counts and 4 buttons. And you're going to inhale on a line at that level, expanding that space. Of course, you won't be able to expand enough to pop a button, but this is a very useful mental picture. The first thing you're going to realize is inhaling through one nostril and keeping it up for 4 counts is much more difficult than inhaling through a straw and keeping it for 10 seconds, because we don't have any air control here. You cannot limit the air going through your one nostril, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a softer breath so that you can last 4 seconds. Now there are ways of narrowing the openings and the canals back in here, but we don't want to narrow them. We really want to have a very silent breath that is really free and it's open in your sinus here. And also, we don't want that air to take a shortcut from here and go down directly. We want it to travel all the way up and go all the way back and go through your soft palate down. And when it goes through that long way, you're going to feel that it's a little bit cooling your sinus here, and also it's going through your soft palate without touching it. I don't want you to narrow your soft palate and make a sound. I'm exaggerating right now, but even make a little bit sound. I don't want you to feel that it's going through a bottleneck in the back. Now this is going to require a little bit of pre-releasing the muscles in here. The muscles, there are muscles, there's flesh in the spaces you have in here, and when you tense them up, they occupy a lot of space. What I want you to do, I want you to open these sinus. I want you to open the path your breath is going through before you start to take your breath. That is going to require a little bit of exploration. You'll feel in time that you can open more and more, and the breath travels through all that long route without taking the shortcut. Now on top of that, you have to take a 4-count breath and you have to send it to the proper places. You have to top it up on the 4th count like we did with the first exercise, and you're going to hold it for 8 counts, exactly doing the same thing. You're going to feel that you're bloated here, completely empty here, and your throat is completely relaxed, and you're in a good position. Stretch out more and see, how bloated you are when you stand a little bit taller. When you put a little bit more distance between those discs, you'll feel that you're more bloated because your air bubble changed shape. It was wider and squeezed on top, and now when you're taller actually looks more like an elliptic shape, like a football, and it gives you more stretching in here, but that's a good stretching. And also, in all of the series of these exercises, as you're inhaling, you may try to put a little more space between the discs. That is going to help you take a really good breath. But I want you to be aware that stretching up, this movement should not encourage you to take a breath high. You should still take a low breath. If that stands on the way, I would first stand tall in the beginning, take a breath without thinking about stretching more. When you get comfortable with, taking the breath in here, when you feel that your border is secure and you don't breach this out, and you may start to extend it more as you're taking breath. So you want to have 10 times. You want to inhale, hold your breath, and release it 10 times through one nostril and 10 times through the other one. Like in the first exercise, you have to do it 10 perfect times. If you feel that it is not working well, if it didn't go well, that one, you couldn't concentrate or something, you're exploring and it didn't work out, you have to do it again. Just release it, don't wait till the end, save time, and do it over. Once you're done with this, you're going to inhale through both nostrils. Now see, the pattern is we inhale through the straw, which is like really limited air, a lot of suction going on in here, and it's really easy to place it. And then we inhale through one nostril where you have no limitation of how much air is going through other than inhaling a very soft breath. And we do same level here with the different nostril, and we open up all our face and everything. And now this is the closest thing we get into full breath. When you would sing, you would inhale through your mouth and your nose at the same time, which is a lot of air going through. So we start from very limited air and gradually we're going towards a full inhale. When you inhale through both nostrils, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a little harder. It requires to take a softer breath. The softer breath you take, it's going to be easier to feel the cavities in here. Because when you take a strong breath through your nose, all the muscles in there, they start resisting to host that suction you have in there. To have that strong vacuum, that breath has to go through narrow places. So if you want to have a suction breath, a vacuum through your nose, what's going to happen is all these canals and the corridors you have in your face, they're going to narrow down. But if you actually want to take a long, soft breath, what's going to happen is those canals are going to open up, your sinus is going to open up, your sense of smelling is going to enhance. If you're wine tasting or if you're smelling a flower that has a very distant smell, you would pre-open everything and smell it softly. You wouldn't stuff a flower in your nose and do that. That would just, kill the experience. Now we have 3 exercises, almost 4 exercises with the switching of the nostrils. And you do each 10 times, that's a lot of breath. When I do my regular routine, I do an hour and a half breath and maybe half an hour singing. And that's really enough, because in time I came to find out that I can warm up even better just using breath, and I wouldn't be using my vocal cords. Now the last exercise is what I call the breath sit-ups. Pretty much what you'll be doing is you'll be putting your hands right under your rib cage, squeezing them in as much as you can. Have a little breath in you, not too much, and without inhaling or exhaling anymore, keeping that air, you're going to push that muscle out. Now this is going to be really hard for you to learn just watching this video, because it's really helpful if you can just put your hands on somebody who knows how to do this and feel that gradual movement that's happening inside. Because the first thing you will probably do is you're going to, instead of using that muscle I'm talking about, you're going to use your abdominal muscles and push this everything out and tense up. They're really similar if you don't know what you're looking for. What I'm looking for is that there is a hidden muscle, it's basically your diaphragm, is rested in your rib cage, and you can gradually, when pushing it out, open it like a flower and it expands out of it. And you can feel this movement really gradually. When I do this with my students, the first time they feel me doing that, they freak out and they say, "What is that?" It is your diaphragm. And then when they feel it on themselves, they can, in a really short time, they can start it going like that. So if you're having, try this. Try it yourself. The first thing you have to find out is the amount of breath you take to do this. If you have an underbreath, you can't really do it because your diaphragm doesn't move. If you have a lot of breath, you can't do it again because your diaphragm is already out there. So you're going to take a little bit of breath. You'll find the amount of breath you need as you explore this. And once you have that amount of breath, just hang on to it. Don't release it. Don't inhale it. This is not an inhaling and exhaling exercise. This is purely pushing it out. And just hold your breath and try to feel that gradual movement. Now you want to tuck your hands as much as you can inside. This is not a comfortable feeling, but if you want to feel it gradual, you want to feel the very beginning of that movement, which is happening right in your ribs. You won't be able to reach that area, but you'll be able to feel the very beginning of the movement. And what you want is you want that push to be very gradual. If it's like expanding right away, that's the tension on your abdominal muscles. You should absolutely leave those muscles alone, and you should concentrate in that blossoming feeling that is rolling out through your diaphragm. In the very beginning, if you have never done this, and if you don't know how to do this naturally, you will definitely use your abdominal muscles, and you will feel that it's not very gradual. But what's going to happen is, as you use your abdominal muscles, it is going to activate your diaphragm a little bit, and when you feel that there is like a little bit of gradual movement, a segment of it, you will pursue that, and eventually you're going to release using those muscles, and you're going to expand with your diaphragm.